So North Dakota out of the Summit League, which has seen Denver win the Summit League the last 6 years. A common opponent. North Carolina has already played Denver. They opened the season with a 2-1 win at Denver, then came from behind to beat Colorado, a top 25 team, 3-2. They beat Georgia 4-3. That scoreline perhaps a little closer than it actually was, and then took care of Arizona by a score of 2-0. They have North Dakota today, and they'll have Seton Hall Sunday here at Dorrance Field at 1 o'clock before they head over to Durham to take on the Duke Blue Devils. North Carolina in all white, North Dakota in all green, including darker green socks, almost black.
You know, we talked with Coach Logan. He mentioned that game against Denver as tape for them to really focus on because that was a common opponent for them and somebody they could really measure themselves up with.
North Dakota started the season with 2 ties on the road. Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, also always a good team, and then a tie at Oakland, also a really good team. They took it to Minnesota Crookston 3-0, Alabama State 7-0. So obviously coming off less than the competition they're going to see here today against the mighty Tar Heels. Right over to Julia Briggs, the senior from Reno, Nevada.
You know, North Dakota happy with the way their season has started. Who wouldn't be, with no losses through your first 4 games? But having that big step up and going on the road to play a top 10 team in North Carolina, their coach said, listen, this is like a measuring stick. Let's see where we're actually at without having any pressure on them. A loss doesn't affect their season. They're going to have to win their conference if they're going to get into the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, give them credit for wanting to come and experience one of the college soccer meccas of all time, now aptly named Dorrance Field, after the retired Anson Dorrance, who retired 4 days before the start of the season. Did it very much like Dean Smith did it back in '97, I believe. Just he retired in late October and handed it over to Bill Guthridge, the man that he wanted to take it over.
Things worked out pretty well in that situation. Guthridge taking them to the Final Four in his first season. And, you know, it's not just that parallel you can draw. It's more recent as well. When Roy Williams stepped aside, his assistant Hubert Davis took over as the basketball coach, took Carolina to the national championship in their first year. And on the baseball side, Coach Fox steps aside. Coach Forbes, longtime assistant, just had their team in Omaha. So there's a precedent here at North Carolina for it happening that way.
Well done, Kyle, breaking down some key moments in history as Anson follows suit. Remember, it was Dean Smith who called North Carolina a women's soccer school. That quote, I don't think will ever be lost when you start to break down the history of North Carolina athletics, particularly men's basketball and women's soccer. Tar Heels push it out wide. David Nahas. Here's Allmark, who I have really been impressed with, a freshman. In fact, there are a lot of freshmen starting for Damon Nahas, and they do not play like freshmen. You know, I feel like that's an overused cliche, but here's one of them, Gattino, who just blew my mind. She's got 2 goals already, part of the great Michigan Hawks program that Olivia Thomas also played on. She's got a sister that was a big-time player for Notre Dame. She's a solid center back.
And she's never played center back before in her life, so she's got a little bit of that offensive mindset you saw there. She's very willing to come up and take a shot from distance if there's that opportunity. And it's kind of impressive to me that you look at the history of center backs here for North Carolina, not just a freshman starting, but a freshman who's never played that position. I think that just speaks to the amount of faith that the coach has in her to say, yeah, you can be at this very important spot for our club.
The effort of Allmark that kept the ball with North Carolina. Gattino gives it over to Della Rose. Della Rose is one of those players, folks, even on a hot, steamy day, that you'll feel like you see her everywhere in that 34 jersey. Down near the end line, a chance to get a cross in. Just a little bit too deep and deflected away by Kaylee Fowler, a sophomore out of Liberty Hill, Texas. Trinity Armstrong, like a couple of these freshmen, should be a senior in high school, but they kick-started their entry into college by finishing up high school early, arriving here in the spring, and are eligible to be out there and start. And that's exactly what Armstrong has done. Thomas with the turn. Thomas, who is red hot, coming in with 3 goals in her last 2 games. She's got 3 goals and 2 assists on the season, the sophomore out of Grosse Pointe, Michigan.
You know, I asked Coach Nejas specifically about Thomas and her growth from last year to this year, and he said, you know, plainly, listen, there's a big jump from going from club ball to NCAA D1 soccer, and I think that it took her a year to understand that and kind of adapt to it, but she's put in the work, he said, and you've seen it pay off early this season, being able to finish those goals off.
She came in with a little bit of injury also and wasn't really able to shake that off, so you didn't see 100% of what we're starting to see out of Olivia Thomas, who is just an absolute prototypical 9 who can hit with her right foot and her left foot, can hold up the ball, can make runs, can high press. I mean, the kind of player North Carolina feels like they've always had.
You think of North Carolina, and there's, to me, 3 positions that you think of, and all 3 of them run down the middle of the field, but they have elite center backs, center forwards, and center midfielders.
You are so on point there. Here's Allmark, who really impressed me last week in that win over Kadani McAlpine in Georgia. Allmark had 2 assists in that game, the freshman from Buffalo, New York. It'll be a throw in for North Dakota. Julia Briggs has in front of her Kaylee Fowler and also Allison Cheddar. It's won by Armstrong, the freshman from Frisco, Texas.
So far this game, just a few minutes in, but it's going expectedly with North Carolina having possession. And that's why we showed the graphic with 5 backs for North Dakota. Their coach said we're going to play a 4-back system, but it'll probably look like 5 because they anticipated that North Carolina was going to have possession like they have.
So it's going to roll all the way back. Claire Gagne, the Brown transfer. You've got Nagai, the Princeton transfer. 3 Ivy Leaguers coming in for Damon Nejas and the Tar Heels. Just 8 minutes in. Thank all of you for being with us here on what is a doubleheader dog day. Bring your dog to Dorrance Field. The men's team will have a game later tonight right here at Dorrance Field. Here's Allmark. Allmark dribbles into trouble but stays with it. Extremely strong, folks. Great with the ball at her feet. Brings it back to Trinity Armstrong. Dropped in the middle of the field to Nagai. Nagai, little give and go, keeps the game simple. Looking to give it back. Push it wide right. Don't be surprised if they find Nagai one more time. There she is.
Good patience there from Carolina.
Gatino from way downtown. And saved, diving, is Grace Miller, the freshman from San Diego. Otherwise, it's 1-0.
Tell you what, Allie Sentnor had a leg on her for Carolina, drafted this past season. But I think this freshman's got a bigger one. That's the 2nd time from distance we have seen her put a shot on a line and on frame.
I told you, even Damon Nejas is like, Dean, you really like Gatino, don't you? I'm like, man, I freaking love her. What a weapon to have. Doesn't even need to be a free kick for her to unleash a long distance bomb. Near post run. They go in front of the penalty spot, and it's headed over by Armstrong. It'll come back to Grace Miller.
Well played ball. Armstrong just not able to get on top of that header and get it down. These are going to be important moments right here for North Dakota's defense because they're going to be on defense so much. When they've got an opportunity to have possession, they can't turn it over like that.
Olivia Thomas. Olivia Thomas. You know, seeing Olivia Thomas so close to, I was lucky enough to go to the Olympics and take in quite a few of the USA women's soccer games, all but the bronze medal game. But she reminds me of a combination of all three of the triple espresso, but especially Rodman.
Well, there's three players that she just easily dribbles through. The fourth defender having to come over and force her to take the shot early, giving her a tough angle. But you see why she's already got 3 goals on the season.
Yeah, she did Trinity Rodman's little spin roll, and then she had the breakaway ability of Smith, and then cut inside like Swanson, and that went over Georgia. Just a sophomore Thomas. Della Rose has Elgin to her left. Della Rose will use Elgin. Armstrong comes in. The guy will lose it.
This is where it's going to be tough, though, for North Dakota. You get that turnover, but you have everybody back. Now you have to try and get upfield where Carolina is able to swarm.
Yeah, nobody there able to help by way of tiling. Irene Jarosiv Aljindaw. I think I nailed that one, by the way. Irene, the senior, all by herself up there. So Irene, just if you were wondering, 13 letters in her last name, half the alphabet.
It's where you thank the SIDs that put together the pronunciation guides to make sure we get the names right.
Guy does well, give and go. Good chance to step back, perhaps waited just a second too long. Left-footed shot coming from Bella Sember, who was featured by Hunter Caparelli.
You see Sember having a conversation there with the referee, saying she had her arm pulled.
First time these two teams have ever met. North Carolina and North Dakota. First time ever.
Coach Long said, hey, this is one of those places you see it out there that they're looking for an opponent, and you don't think about anything else except for it is the Mecca. It is North Carolina, and you say yes, and you figure out the rest later.
So on point. Kyle Straub. The guy back over to Della Rose. Coutinho. Good pass in. Thomas. Get it over to Allmark. As I mentioned, 2 assists in that Georgia game. Elgin. Della Rose. Coutinho. He's already popped one from here. Gonna take another shot. And this one a little bit too high.
You can see North Dakota isn't taking the bait at all. North Carolina's trying to stretch that defense, get them to come out from that block a little bit, but they aren't. I think they're gonna need to if Coutinho keeps coming up and taking those 30, 35-yard shots. And as soon as they do, that's where something can open up for North Carolina inside the 18.
Yeah, I was trying to get a reaction from Damon Nahas after that last Coutinho shot, and I think he's okay with it because of what you just said. I mean, they're packing 9 in. I mean, it is loaded up, and they're not that far from each other. I mean, the 5 and the 4 on the 2 front lines there.
They're not, and it looks like she's getting clean lanes to get that ball on frame. She's got one of them so far. With as much pace as it is, that's going to be a tough one for a keeper to make the save and hold on to it. So maybe you get a rebound in a messy box.
Fossey gave that up. Guy over to Thomas. Thomas kept alive. And into a scrum of 3 green jerseys. Olivia Migley, the Duke transfer, getting the start. She has been a part of a very effective combo with Avon Alvarez. Those two platooning, and right in front off of Elgin. Hits the crossbar, should be 1-0. It was right at the 6. Unlucky, Emerson Elgin got a great ball. We'll get another look at it next opportunity. But Kyle, should be 1-0 North Carolina.
Sometimes the post can be a little unlucky to you at home. And I was just thinking Carolina should be playing the ball in from distance. It's one way to kind of find some space, see if they keep that up.
Della Rose. Wow, they are really jammed in there defensively. I almost saw all 10 field players inside the 18. I don't know if I've ever seen that when it's not a free kick going on.
And that can be extremely frustrating for an offense. You've got to stay patient if you're Carolina.
Guy who got it back from Fossey. Now they back over to Elgin. Elgin, who had that opportunity earlier that went up the crossbar. Who knows, she may still get one. She'll at least get a corner kick. North Carolina almost made it 1-0 as they found Elgin inside that went off the crossbar.
And it's playing a ball from distance and then crossing the field with it as well. You see numbers getting packed in where the ball is played. It leaves some spaces to move. Elgin just not quite able to make the timing on that one, though.
She was not able to use her head. You nailed it, Kyle. Because of that, off her foot and off the crossbar. North Carolina kept the possession after that for another good minute or two, and now they have a corner kick. Possession heavily in favor of the home team. The Tar Heels kept this one alive. Still loose in front, turning on it. Gattino! And Gattino has scored. It's 1-0 North Carolina. Third goal of the season for Bella Gattino, already making a name for herself.
She's center back, right? She's not a forward? She's not on the attack? Well, I said it a couple of minutes ago. Sometimes all those numbers in the box, they can cause some chaos. And it's a messy box, not the greatest cross, but it gets lost in a tangle of feet. And it's the freshman who's the one in the right spot.
Fossey gets the assist. Third goal of the season for Gattino. Free kick goal that kind of got deflected and went in against the Georgia Bulldogs. That top 20 matchup. Caroline Kuhn, a junior out of Texas. Went to Laramie County Community College for a couple years before joining Chris Logan, now in his 8th season. He's assisted by Hendrik Sohn and Nicole Randall. That is the coaching staff for North Dakota. The Tar Heels, just like that, Thomas will earn a corner kick coming for the Tar Heels.
You can't, even though there are, as we've seen, 9, 10 in the box at times for North Dakota, if you're the Tar Heels, you can't be okay with one. It's very easy to have a lapse with a 1-goal lead and all of a sudden it's tied. So keep pushing, keep trying to add.
Just saw Julia Briggs just run after Gattino as Gattino is on top of the 6 for this corner kick. Goes to Gattino, and Gattino gets her head on it, and it's parried away. Gattino, what a weapon to have. Also showing great ability with her head right there.
And that's her 5th shot already, 3 of them on frame, and that is about as good of a header as you want off of a corner. Good reaction there from the keeper, Gagne.
Fossey makes the near post run, and it's pulled out of the air effectively by Grace Miller. It is 1-0 though. Bella Gattino, the freshman from Dexter, Michigan, the Michigan Hawks, perennial power in the ECNL. It was the Hawks that fell to Savvy King's Slammers 2 years ago in the ECNL National Championship game. Savvy King marked Thomas the entire game.
How about you lose Savvy King, a freshman who goes number 2 overall in the NWSL draft? Carolina fans have got to be thinking to themselves, what are they going to do this year on defense? Don't worry, you've got a freshman that's got 3 goals already on the season in that position.
And Trinity Armstrong, another strong freshman as well, out of Frisco, Texas, spent time at IMG. She very much looks pro ready. Here's Elgin. Great look by Lauren George, Evan Badler, and the rest of our crew at the Elgin shot as She wasn't in a good enough position to get ahead on it, which I think took a little bit of steam off that opportunity, Kyle, as we took a look at it again.
Yeah, and you know, in this kind of a game where you have so much possession, there's no need to force something. Go ahead, back it out, reset.
Trinity Armstrong will give it up to Della Rose. Migley back to Della Rose, and now Armstrong. Armstrong was hoping that she could peel off Olivia Thomas. It's back to Della Rose. 26 minutes remaining here in the first half. Good turn. Quick little trap, Olivia Thomas. And Thomas showed against Georgia that she can score from distance with her left foot and her right foot. So you can never guess which way she's going to turn. Shot from long distance by Nagai, and it'll be off frame. It'll be a goal kick coming back to North Dakota.
I love the little deke that Thomas gave there. The defender didn't bite on it, but she went towards her right before coming back to the left on that spin to try and give herself a little bit of a gap to get that shot off.
For those of you tuning in, especially perhaps tuning in North Dakota, where maybe it's a little bit cooler, it is toasty hot here. 4 o'clock start. We will have a hydration break in each half, but different kind of heat, right?
Close to 100 today.
Yeah.
It's the kind of day where I'm glad our job keeps us inside.
Yeah, nice and cool here at Dorrance Field, right at midfield. As another corner kick coming for the Tar Heels. The Tar Heels with 13 shots, 4 on goal, and they already have 5 corners in this game. They may elect to go short here. They do. Allmark's on it. Allmark, just a giant soccer brain. Set back in. Latino was in the middle of it, so was Armstrong. Those are your 2 center backs, and then Elgin, her shot just a bit wide to the left.
A really headsy play there on the corner for Carolina to play that one short. Everybody for North Dakota was down in the 18 in front of the goal. Play that short, try and draw some out. Gatino with a really nice heel flick, almost picked up an assist.
14 shots, 5 corners, and what feels like 95% of the possession. It's only fair that North Carolina was able to break down what looked like at one time 10 field players inside the 18 and get even a scrappy goal from Gatino.
And I think the game plan they've had so far is what you continue with. It will result in more goals. You just got to be patient.
Elgin taking that pass from Sember. Sember back on it. Sember! Almost a handball. It wasn't, so good non-call. Della Rose. The turn in by Fossey, who's had a great start to her season, and she takes a shot.
I like these strikes from North Carolina, but I'd like to see them maybe take a little pace off, make sure it's on frame, cause more of that chaos in the box that resulted in their goal.
Approaching the hydration break zone, and that will be where it is. So with the hydration break, it's North Carolina 1, North Dakota 0.
So far it has been exactly what we thought. North Carolina dominating possession. They've worked the ball in, and when they've gotten the opportunity, when they were close enough, it resulted in that 1 goal.
We're going to take a break here on the hydration. North Carolina leading North Dakota by a score of 1-0.
Style in sports, it's a 1-2 punch.
Originality, that's style.
Today we're going to be helping style some high schoolers.
We're about to get some style in there with some student athletes. We're going to take these kids to the next level.
This is fire.
You know what I mean? Something different.
So the swag.
Get it.
Under Armour, we here, man.
Style is all about a representation of yourself.
If you look good, you feel good, you play good, it goes all in one.
book is called Surrender. 40 songs, one story.
Whoa!
Yes?
How do you sleep at night?
Oh, on a mattress from Mattress Firm. I sleep. All right, I'm going.
It's the best sale of the year, the Labor Day sale. Save up to $700 on Tempur-Pedic and get a $300 instant gift. Get matched at Mattress Firm, sleep at night.
North Carolina 1, North Dakota 0, another hot one. Somebody said it was fall, but we're still dealing with the dog days of summer here in Chapel Hill, almost 100 degrees. And speaking of dog days, it's a dog day at Dorrance Field, Kyle Straub.
I love that transition right there. That was great. Hey, listen, it's not just man's best friend, right? Everybody's best friend is the dog. Two of mine at home. Too hot for them to be here. Well, Arlo's a little too loud, too.
Yeah, I want to say hello to Chubbs and also want to say hello to Hunter Caparelli, who's also with us. Hunter, take it away.
Yeah, guys, I'm here with Valley the Husky. Valley, how are you doing today? I know it's a rough one with the heat, but how are you doing? Yes, I agree. Guys, I can confirm there's a lot of hot dogs over here on the concourse.
That's a great interview.
That was awesome. I don't even think they're not even mad that that the dog ate a wheel of cheese. You know what I mean? Great interview, Hunter. That one's priceless. That one's going to get him a job somewhere.
He's already got one here.
There you go. Our producer, Lauren George, clearly a dog lover. Great stuff on the dogs. There'll be more dogs out here for that men's game tonight. Alongside Kyle Straub, I'm Dean Linke. That was good stuff. I actually feel like that dog did say something to Hunter there.
I've lived with a husky before, and they are extremely vocal, so don't be surprised if you hear a couple of words over there, Hunter. Here with the hydration break, it's almost like a timeout for the coaches. Yeah, the players get to go over there and get some water, take a break from this heat, but for each coach, it's a little bit of a moment to make some tweaks in game. And it'll be interesting to see if there's any made on the North Dakota side or if they stick with that really deep box, playing almost all 9 or 10 in there.
Della Rose over to Elgin. Felt like the hydration break came at the right time for both teams. Gattino has, without question, been the player of the match so far. She's got the only goal. She has hit some long-distance bombs. And with this bunker, and, you know, look, you can't sugarcoat it. It's a bunker. Even the Fighting Hawks of North Dakota would admit that they're in a bunker right here. Armstrong. Actually, it's like a double bunker. It might be a triple bunker. I mean, what are you going with here, Kyle?
Submarine? I think at some point you'll see them come out and take some risks, but you don't want a game to get away from you in the first half when you know that you're outmatched. And it's, you know, let's face it, that's what the case is. And Coach Long told us, we've talked to our team about this at length. There's a 1% chance they win the game, but they want to embrace that 1% and see if they can find that moment within a game that they can do it.
Well, they now have another moment where all 10 field players are inside the 18. That would be a good drone picture for Damon Nahas to show his team, just to show how much respect this team has for the North Carolina Tar Heels, to see all 11 players, including the goalkeeper, inside the 18 defensively.
They might blend in. The green grass, the green jerseys.
Mary Gasway, a couple assists. She's over for the free kick. She does have a flip throw. Obviously, this is a free kick, but she has a flip throw that we can keep our eye on for later.
It was actually one of the ways when I asked their coach, you know, how do you find a way to score in a game like this? And he said, either off of a counterattack where we can get in behind their defense, or off of a set piece. And maybe even if we get close enough, a throw in, because we've got some really good players at that.
Yeah, it's a weapon that continues to make a difference. Former Tar Heel Jessica McDonald, one of the best throw-in. She actually made that 2019 World Cup. I think if you asked Vlatko Andonovski, it was because of her incredible ability to throw it in. And actually it was Jill Ellis who was her coach in 2019. Here's Gattino. Nice little drop off to Delarose. Gattino. I mean, with this kind of bunker and despite the heat, I mean, Kyle, we now are going to see some subs, but it's not like North Carolina has to make a ton of subs because North Carolina isn't doing a lot of running. I mean, they have the ball in their offensive third 90% of this first half.
Yeah, it's a lot of side-to-side movement. You're not going up and down the field.
Well, you can tell Thomas wants to keep the heat going. She's looking for a good trap and a quick turn. So far, she's been turning to her right. We'll see if she'll switch it up later and go to her left. She demonstrated that ability against Georgia. A wonder finish. Fassi keeps it alive. And that's Alvarez who has come on for Migley. She'll earn a corner kick. Corner kick coming for the North Carolina Tar Heels.
I feel like they've played their corners pretty well. Actually, the one that they played the worst was the one that they got a goal off of because it got into all those feet that were in front of the goal.
All right, Gattino's going to get a well-deserved break here. She's going to come off for the final 18 minutes. So Gattino will come out and
keep an eye on Mara, who just came in, another freshman, but listed at 5'10". That's a big target in there off a corner kick.
And she wears number 17. Great job, Kyle. She's out of the state of Massachusetts. Alvarez won a W League title with the North Carolina Courage. Willie Davis, the head coach. As they beat the team from Colorado at WRAL Soccer Park in Raleigh, 3-2 in pouring rain. Thomas, good idea. Rather than turning, she was thinking Fassi.
That's something where you've got to talk about that as teammates before you do it. Great thought from Thomas. She's drawing so much attention when she gets the ball with her back to the goal. Just got to make sure you let Fassi know that that's what you're thinking.
This is a North Dakota team that had 36 shots against Minnesota Crookston and 36 shots against Alabama State. Not sure they've had 36 touches.
Make no mistake about it, this is not the game they've played in all four so far.
Armstrong. Good turn. They're ready for it. Picked back out of the air. Delarose. Alvarez. Allmark. Love Allmark's just her awareness. Shot from distance, just a little too high.
You know, you look over to the sideline for North Dakota after that shot goes out of bounds. Everybody is up, everybody is standing, same with their coach. I'm a firm believer that some of these smaller schools sometimes play these games knowing, you know what, we're probably not going to get a win. It's likely we're not. But the coach wants to see how much his team is going to fight and if they'll fight the entire game.
Keep an eye out for that. Headed by Delarose, hoping to find Fassi. And here's the new player, Caitlin Mara, that Kyle Straub told you about, replacing the goal scorer Gattino, who will be rested and ready to go for the second half, and she's right back on it. Armstrong. Pretty good ball to Elgin. Elgin trapped it off the front of her foot, popped in the air, runs it back down again. Fassi. Fassi can crank, but not quite on target. There'll be a goal kick coming back to North Dakota, the Fighting Hawks.
Been a couple of strikes from Fassi that I've liked where she's gotten on top of them. She's kept them down below the crossbar. Just has been wide, left or right.
Change coming in. 32, Jessica Makovic is into the game. Makovic has 2 goals already on the season.
Player down. Looks like Belcher.
Kyle, you're a baseball man. You know how at the end of the day, like, unless somebody has like no business getting a base hit, but it came off the bat kind of the wrong way and just landed somewhere, and there they are on first base, and 5 days later when you go and look at it, what is it? It's a base hit. So if I'm North Dakota, I'm taking that incredible offensive breakdown that started this game with North Carolina, and I'm keeping that forever, right? You know, after 4 games, you were right there with the Tar Heels.
Exactly, and like I said going into it, it wasn't going to play out the way that the stats show you, but that's because they're at a different level from the first 4 games they played. But how many teams are they going to see that are at the athleticism of North Carolina? So if you go into this and say, hey, remember when we played Carolina and we battled the whole time? Even though we didn't have those numbers, it'll help you in those other games where they've already had success.
Damon Nejas bringing in some new players.
And maybe they get one of those broken bat bloop singles that turn into a goal for them here.
Alexa Wanovich, whose dog was featured in that wonderful piece on the dogs and that wonderful interview from Hunter Caparelli. On the right side. For those of you wondering what we're giggling about, a lot of dog references.
Paw puns.
Yeah. Yeah, well said, Kyle. North Carolina trying to add to their 1-0 lead. Great little fake from Alvarez as she tries to play it in to Wanovich. Spent some time at Villanova, but she's from Chapel Hill, went to Cardinal Gibbons. Armstrong with Catino going to the bench for a break, kind of running the back line for the Tar Heels. And that one just a little bit too deep.
And you're seeing, Dean, I think, North Dakota coming out of that bunker a little bit. Not a lot, but you're seeing a little pressure when that ball is, say, 30 yards away, where in the first 25, 30 minutes of this half, we saw no pressure on that ball at all.
Chris Logan, the top man at Notre Dame. He's from Stoke-on-Trent, England. Went to Notre Dame College, a small college in Ohio. Grace Miller. Armstrong. Right side, right open, and not able to finish. Right in front of the goal there was McKenna Dominguez, who played really good against Georgia, had an assist. Dominguez wide open.
Everything was perfectly executed by Carolina except the finish. Just timed it a little bit off, did Dominguez, on that header. But I like how quickly Carolina got that ball in play, switched fields, and then crossed it into the box.
UNC playing without Maddie Darlene, who was named to the USU 20 team, competing at the FIFA U20 World Cup, which will take place August 31 through September 22 in Columbia. Here's Della Rose. Ellie Sentnar and Savvy King, both playing their rookie seasons in the NWSL, are also on that team.
When you're an elite program or the elite program, you've got to deal with that.
Dominguez gives it up to Elgin. Right back to Dominguez. Dominguez. Elgin! And right in the hands of Miller.
with the defense closing in on her. I love that she got that one on frame. Right at the keeper, but if it's not a clean save, you can easily get the rebound for a goal. I think if she had had a little more time, probably would have wanted to go top corner.
Stay with us at halftime as Kyle will take a deeper look into the ACC, including the preseason rankings, some other games coming up down the road. This one down near the end and right in the hands again of Grace Miller. We'll also have a special Carolina Insider Pod with Jones Angel and Adam Lucas talking to Kevin Rice from Odwell Management about the NIL and the huge landscape change where pretty much really every university has to have a whole different department handling that issue.
It's a ever-changing world that continues to evolve every single day.
Far side, down near the end line. The guy. Nice and neat every trap. Della Rose. A little extra pass. Armstrong. And Alvarez, they'll play advantage. Probably a good decision. Allmark, far side, Allmark. She is so hard to cover. Again, I overused reference to say only a freshman, but Allmark, the thing she does, I mean, she just does not look like a freshman. Her ability to win corners almost every time is unprecedented this early.
She's extremely game smart, right? You don't expect to see that at somebody her age.
Overlapping run. Sent in. And headed off. The taller players, as Kyle mentioned, Caitlin Maroff listed at 5'10". The smaller players now coming in for David Nahas, as Nagai is going to come out of the game. And coming into the game, number 20, Ashley Penny, the freshman from Miami, Our Lady of Lourdes Academy. A player that Damon Nahas says continues to impress in practice.
You know, all these freshmen that are getting playing time right away, I think a big part of the reason is you've got to credit the youth system that gets them the experience and the development to where some of them can even reclassify, and instead of being in high school, out here playing at this level.
8 minutes remaining. North Carolina with a 1-0 lead. 22 shots, 6 on frame, 7 corner kicks. It's only been 3 fouls in this game. It's been that clean. Penny, little give and go. Penny drops it back again, and that shot's going to be too high. Chris Logan looking to make another change for North Dakota. Makovic coming out. She had a short run.
But she was up top, and she was the one who was starting to bring the pressure out from the 18-yard box, make it a little tougher on Carolina. And I think with this heat, giving that person a spell, because we talked about it, North Carolina doesn't have to do a lot of running. North Dakota's defense, though, has.
Under 7 minutes remaining. Della Rose. Drop back over. Penny. Alvarez. Shot from distance. And just a little bit too high that time from Mara. Caitlin Mara is a freshman from Winchester, Mass. Buckingham, Brown, and Nichols. Mara spelled M-A-R-A. You know, it's interesting that you mentioned the fact that Gattino had never played center back, and you think about if Mara can continue to show what she can do and allows you to move Gattino up a little bit more, which then would allow you to move Della Rose up a little bit more, this team's going to get better and better.
Yeah, I don't think that we see the best North Carolina team that this version of them is going to be. Because there's so many new faces and they're so young, it'll continue to grow and develop throughout the year. They're going to be a scary bunch if they stay healthy come the postseason.
5 minutes.
And I'll tell you, if you keep an eye on the formation Carolina plays, it'll tell you how much development and growth they have. They started the year with a 3-back system, and I think that's what Damon Nahas would like to play. They've changed to a 4. If they go back to a 3, it just goes to show you that they're okay with everybody on the back, and that makes that offense that much more dynamic.
Excellent point. Yeah, many times even in their 4-back, it still looks like only a 2-back as they let their left back and right back really push forward, particularly Elgin on the left side. The way this one has gone,
we've seen the 2 and slowly kind of just becoming a 1-back while everybody else has pushed forward.
It has become a 1-back.
Yeah.
Well said, Kyle. Under 5 minutes remaining.
It's almost as if Trinity Armstrong has become the free safety. Just don't allow anybody to get over the top. Otherwise, just hang out.
Yeah, speaking of free safety, Mac Brown of the Tar Heels on the road tonight against Minnesota. College football underway.
Just like that, it's already fall season because of the football season, even though it's 100 degrees outside today. They've got to be happy to be playing away from home just because of the weather. Although I think it's going to be stormy up there.
Rare second ball, I mean, kind of won by North Dakota, but knocked out of bounds, but it did cross midfield for only about the second time. Della Rose, Penny, Mara, Damon Nahas has continued to be up most of the game, wearing the long sleeve white t-shirt on the far side. His brother Sean, the head coach of the North Carolina Courage. They've got Kansas City on Sunday. Come watch Seton Hall in North Carolina and then slide down and check that game out. Back across again, looking for that second goal before the halftime whistle. Armstrong. Kept alive, Elgin gets it off with her left foot. Elgin did quite a bit with very little space right there.
You're kind of impressed that even with a blind shot, she's able to get that close to the frame. Just had a little bit of bend to it, took it away from the post.
North Dakota will make one more change in this final 2:45 or so. As here it comes. Bassinet coming out, and coming into the game, Aubrey Dew, the sophomore from Fargo, North Dakota. Fargo, the great movie that turned into multiple series. Pretty good. Somewhat disturbing, but pretty good. Della Rose. Penny. Alvarez. Another one of those young freshmen. Armstrong gives it up to Penny. Alvarez, first time's at far post. And a whistle called a push. That time called against Wanovich.
You'll see her with a little bit of a push from behind just before she goes up to head this ball. Got two defenders marking her.
Della Rose. Alvarez. Far side, give and goal. Della Rose. Over to Elgin. Elgin. Good ball by Elgin, but better job by Grace Miller pulling it out of the air to keep this one at 1-0.
Had a teammate that was making a run there. Just got to get it a little bit further away from the goal mouth.
Yeah, the goalie with 5 saves, Grace Miller, faced 25 shots in 7 corners. That's a lot, Kyle Straub.
That's a lot for a game, let alone 45 minutes.
And you mentioned the heat and fatigue, and to be fair, I'm really seeing it only on the players in green. All right, quick thought on a 1-0 lead in a game that saw North Carolina get 25 shots and give up 0.
For North Carolina, I think you just got to put in the best basketball coach to ever do it.
Yeah, Phil Jackson. All right, so the Tar Heels in possession to start the second half. Alongside Hunter and Kyle, I'm Dean, delighted to be with you here on ACC Network Extra. A little non-conference matchup, Summit League's North Dakota and the ACC's Tar Heels.
Scanning the field, it looks like Nahas has gone back to the original starting 11 for the Tar Heels. Carolina using just 5 subs in the first half, and that's been, I think, Dean, the one difference between Damon Nahas being the coach now versus Anson Dorrance over the past 4+ decades is you don't see those hockey-style line changes this season.
Nope, not happening, and hasn't been needed. They've been in tight games, but they've been ready to win them. They came from behind to beat Colorado, a top 25 team. Here's Katina, who got a really long break in the first half, so she comes out fresh. And I think it's fitting the way she scored it. I mean, she was taking those bombs earlier, but she just got in and in around the 6, and she's kind of a destroyer. I mean, she's big, uses her hips, uses her shoulders, uses her power, and finds a way to make it 1-0. Right in front, flag is up, offside. It's not going to count.
Now back to Gattino, even though she's playing center back for Carolina, you can see from the mentality that she's aggressive. She's a downhill player, and she's looking to score a goal.
So second half underway. We are anticipating another hydration break. This game starting early at 4 because 7:30 FIU men's soccer team in town to take on Carlos Samuano on what I believe is his birthday, if I saw it correctly. It is his birthday, so Carlos Samuano's birthday. Down near the end line. Falling and saved. Trying to run onto it for the Tar Heels was Nagai.
Well, and Miller just bailed out her defense. You cannot, if you're North Dakota, let this ball stay on the ground and travel that long through the box. You could even see one defender backing off for it. You've got to go after that ball. That's a dangerous one that they are very fortunate didn't result in the second goal.
Princeton transfer Nagai probably should have had that one. Della Rose. Far side, knocked out of bounds, and yet another corner kick coming for the Tar Heels.
Nice little overstep there from Della Rose. Gets to the end line and able to earn this corner. Actually, now that I see it, I just saw Penny, who came in, the freshman, in the first half, still out there. So not quite the starting 11 for the Tar Heels.
The guy who had a good opportunity a moment ago. Armstrong snaps it. And it'll go off the head of Fossey.
She was trying to go near side upper corner. I would have liked to have seen her just flick that on behind her. There was a lot of open goal.
Yeah, good call. The far post was open. As you see the numbers on Fossey. 3 goals in her last 4 games. A little different than her first 23.
She's got the assist on the goal for Carolina tonight. Can we call it tonight yet? It's past 5 o'clock, right?
Kyle, you can do whatever you want. It's dog day at Dorrance Field on a doubleheader. We've interviewed a dog, so I think we're allowed to do anything we want to. It would have been amazing if the dog's name was Baxter. I don't remember what he said the dog's name was. Let's see if our dog team can track that down. A little bit too strong for Allmark.
And with a throw-in, I'd like to see North Dakota try and push some numbers up towards the midfield. See if you can get this one down into Carolina's territory.
There's Bally, the Husky that Hunter did such a great interview with. It would have been sweet to have the subtitles on the interview with Bally, Kyle.
The translation
Yeah.
from Doggy.
Yeah.
We'll have to get somebody on that for next one. Maybe they'll have it for the men's game.
Armstrong switches it. Elgin cuts inside. Penny with a good pass. The guy, get it back. Elgin.
Just also
out of
keep that
bounds.
one in, at least temporarily. That's Thomas. When North Carolina gets stuck in a corner like that, I'd like to see them with a quick switch. Get that defense moving horizontally. Maybe you can catch them overloaded on one side.
North Carolina coming off a 2-0 win over Arizona on Sunday for the first shutout of the year. Delarose and Thomas, the goal scorers. Tar Heels had their most shots in that game. That was 24. They've now got 27 in this game.
They beat that in the first 45.
They did. Again, just in case you're coming out of that cave, Anson Dorrance, the only head coach in UNC program history, announced his retirement on August 11th. Led the UNC women's soccer team for 45 years, winning 22 championships. Damon Nahas now serving as the interim head coach. Dorrance, nothing but high praise for Nahas, saying that, quote, Damon is the best coach I've ever seen. I think he's the best soccer coach in the country, and I include myself in that circle, end quote.
It literally doesn't get any higher praise than that.
Nope.
You know, with Anson, all of the numbers, the accolades are all there to clearly tell the story of what he meant to this university and to this sport. But it's so much further beyond that. A lot of the former players that I follow on Twitter or Instagram, and you saw them flood to social media for their personal messages of the impact that he's had on them on the field and off the field.
Yeah, incredible. Yeah, my first camp with U.S. Soccer '89, sophomore in college, was with Anson Dorrance, and he had already put together the team that would make up the '91 team. And as I was reflecting on being on the field with Michelle Akers and April Heinrichs, a former Tar Heel, Karen Jennings, Carla Overbeck, Wendy Gebauer, Mia Hamm, Shannon Higgins, Lori Henry, Linda Hamilton. Those are all Tar Heels. They all made the team, and many of them went on to be kind of key parts of that '99 team and of the path that U.S. Soccer's been on forever on the women's stage.
To put them at the top of the heap and firmly staying there.
Deflected away, trapped down. Fassi, corner kick, Tar Heels.
So far, North Dakota has done exactly what Coach Long said they were going to try and do. Stay tough on defense, keep battling, and try and keep this at a 1-0 game so you can strike late.
Top of the 6, little stumble, still loose. Thomas turning. Armstrong will run it down. Armstrong trying to win it back. It'll go off of North Dakota, come back to the Tar Heels.
That corner is exactly what Carolina was looking for. A rebound, loose in the box. They just couldn't get anybody on the other end of it.
Still alive here for North Carolina. Allmark never stops moving. Armstrong has Gattino. She's got the lone goal in this game. Gattino ended up a pass, but
It kind of looked like she was in between. Should I shoot it? Should I pass it?
I say hammer it. Go with those 22 national titles, Anson Dorrance, 25 ACC regular season championships, 19 National Players of the Year, 42 NCAA tournament appearances, 31 College Cup, 28 championship game appearances.
We just talk about how silly that is. He made it so often that if you went more than 2 years without doing so, it was like the world was falling apart.
Amen. And that's the
And it
point.
wasn't even for a decade. It was for over 4 of them.
Yeah. Well, people are saying they haven't won it since 2012, but they've been to 3 of the last 6 championship games, so they didn't go anywhere.
And I'd argue that one of them was stolen away a couple of years ago in that UCLA game.
Got a lot of people supporting that argument.
There's also been, if you've been around the program, just some really tough and untimely, devastating injuries for those teams.
Here's a shot from distance. Really great job by Thomas to hold it up perfectly, and then running onto it is Sember.
Really nice connection here. Thomas, knowing she's going to draw the defense, leaves a ball perfectly that's just lifted a little too high. I like that connection, though, Thomas and Sember.
Hunter Caparelli started the show talking about Sember, and when we just went back down to him, he told us that Coach Logan said maybe with 5 minutes to go they'll let him loose, and I thought he was joking, but I don't think he's joking.
No, I think they want to keep this 1-0, and that's their only chance is if they can get a late goal, because I don't know that they feel like they can sustain Carolina for a long period of time if they're pushing hard late in the game.
Gattino. Fassi, far post! Goes kind of off the thigh right there, right in front of the 6. Boy, somehow, some way, even with all those green jerseys inside the 18, North Carolina is finding open players.
Tired legs and tired minds. There's starting to be some openings and some standing still from the North Dakota defense. And for Carolina, the only unfortunate part of that is kind of got caught in between Sember. It wasn't a ball she could head, also couldn't get a foot up to it.
Kyle, you nailed it. You said tired legs. I mean, there were legs that weren't moving in the green uniforms that time as that ball came in there.
Yeah, and tired legs are one thing, but once the mind starts getting tired is when you start making mistakes defensively.
Gattino. Della Rose. Della Rose dribbles into trouble. Remember, Della Rose was the MVP of the soccer tournament where the U.S. team, led by Heather O'Reilly, another Tar Heel legend, won the $1 million. Della Rose, despite all of the NIL, we learned a little bit more about it thanks to Jones and Adam and their discussion on NIL. She wasn't allowed to have any of that $1 million, but the more I watch this game kind of fits TST, where they would take off players and it would be on one side of the field and you would try to find some sort of angled pass, and that's what they're going to need to find here to add to their 1-0 lead.
Yeah, you're just looking for that slight sliver, whether it's something that you're able to create or the defense makes a mistake and gives you by opening up.
Played inside. Della Rose, Gattino waiting on the other side. Coutinho hit that one just a little bit too deep, but it's still going to stay with North Carolina.
I don't think Briggs realized how deep and how close to that end line she was. Would have been better to just let it go for a goal kick.
More of the same here. 30 shots, 8 shots on goal, 7 saves for the North Dakota goalkeeper.
That's another one, just a little bit of a fraction off. I feel like Carolina is knocking on the door. This second goal isn't far off. A couple of players there that just couldn't connect on the end.
The goalkeeper for the Tar Heels, Claire Gagne, the Brown transfer. 0.50 goals against average through 4 games. Coutinho. Fassi. Coutinho, little give and go. Coutinho inside the 18, good ball over. Dropped off one more time, little touch. No space there, a lot of green jerseys, they knew it. So they pull it back. Fassi. Boy, the patience for this North Carolina team needs to be commended.
It really does, especially with as many young players are out there right now.
Armstrong. A little bit too deep. One back anyway by the Tar Heels. Even when they lose it for less than a second. Coutinho pass, she knew it, wasn't quite there. And rare spotting here of Gagne, who's way out. Under 29 minutes to go. And a foul just outside the top of the 18 as the whistle will go against Avery Toms, the sophomore from Maple Grove, Minnesota.
But playing good defense when you're not going to go on offense means also not committing fouls that are going to give the opponent a free kick this close. They're lucky that this was not in the box. It's about a yard and a half off.
Sember.
It's got to be Coutinho who's going to take this, right?
I thought so, but Sember kind of grabbed it like she was going to try to do something with her left foot here. Yep, Sember is going to use her left foot, and one bounce. I'm with you. Coutinho would have been my pick, but Sember grabbed it and basically told Coutinho, I think I got something here.
He tried to wrap that one around the wall and back towards the near post.
Coutinho trying to get some help from the ball girls. Coutinho will throw it in. Elgin. Yeah, you caught it early. It's basically just the 2 back for the Tar Heels, Coutinho and Armstrong.
And at times when you see Coutinho come forward, it's only Armstrong as the safety back there.
So back across again as they continue to look for Olivia Thomas.
It's somebody we saw in the first half. They got the ball to a lot, got her back to the goal and created some opportunities. Haven't been able to do that though here in the second half.
Aria Nagai, who had a pretty good opportunity to make it 2-0 here in the second half, sends in the corner kick. Coutinho got a piece of it. She may score a lot of goals. I mean, we know she's got the ability to score from distance, but the fact that she's now poaching on corner kicks and free kicks, Coutinho could get double-digit goals as a center back.
The only thing that I pause on is how much, once you get into ACC play, is she going to be able to come upfield enough to get involved in the offense?
It's interesting that I mentioned the holding mid, and you said, you know, she wasn't normally a center back. She reminds me of a combination of Yael Averbush and Maggie Tameka, and those are names from the past for North Carolina alumni, two giant holding center mids that just would boss games and then also have great touches. That's who she reminds me of. A little foul, and it'll be a penalty called, so a penalty given for the Tar Heels with a chance to make it a 2-0 lead.
And that all started with Thomas getting the ball back to the goal. Able to get it deep in that box with the one touch, leaves it off. The defense is late coming over. Easy whistle for the referee and a great give and go there.
Yeah, it's definitely a penalty. So Bella Sember earned the penalty, and Bella Sember now on the whistle. Sember with the right and slides it in, and North Carolina with a 2-0 lead.
Miller guessed right. Sember able to just get it all the way to the post and keep it away from the fingertips of the goalkeeper. And that's a reward goal right there. The patience of Carolina paying off, finally getting a PK. And ultimately, Dean, to me, I think that's the icing on the cake for them. There's no offense that we've seen from North Dakota, and now you have a 2-goal cushion.
So now we're going to see Damon Nahas go to his bench. Olivia Thomas is actually going to sit down next to Damon Nahas. Allmark also going to come out. As coming into the game is Asha Means, who it's good to see her out there. She had primarily been listed as a defender and didn't see a ton of time, but has worked herself back into playing condition. She's a former attacking player, and Damon Nahas figures, you know what, if you're gonna have to deal with Olivia Thomas for X amount of time, and then I bring on somebody as strong as Means, he likes what that means.
And to me, it's always good to see those players that aren't the freshmen playing right away stick with it, develop, and finally, as they become upperclassmen, you find the field and you find the playing time.
Gattino. Fassi. So good with the ball at her feet. Here is Means. Means trying to make something happen. Looking for a corner kick. She'll earn it. Well done. Well done indeed, because it's your first touches. It's a tight quarters down near the end line, and she did her job earning the corner kick for North Carolina. This time Armstrong's going to come out instead of Gattino. Gattino will stay in there, as once again Caitlin Mara comes back into the game.
I think this is an opportunity for Coach Nahas to kind of play with some different formations and different players in them to see what connections work best.
Della Rose. Della Rose. Felt like she just had one more body to get by right before she could rip it, and there was a green jersey there.
She was looking and searching. There was just a wall of green.
Oh, what a closeout from number 17, Caitlin Mara. We'll bring it back to Gagne. Della Rose. Mara. North Dakota trying to get possession past midfield, and that kind of counts.
They push numbers forward with her. So much of this game, we've just seen that ball cleared across midfield and they drop back. There were players moving up with her, so they're definitely changing at least the mindset after giving up that second goal.
What a great pass forward by the Tar Heels. Just like that, they're into the 18, trying to add to their 2-0 lead, and almost did. Sember really starting to heat up, right?
Talked about her in the open, and she has really started to come on in this second half, finding some space, creating her own space on that one in order to let one rip.
Alvarez into the game, the freshman. Alongside Hunter Caparelli and Kyle Straub, I'm Dean Linke. I want to thank Lauren George, Evan Badler, Colin Byersdorf, Nolan Sullivan, Dylan Rolling Stone Field, Ahmad Patel, Casey McCann, Colin Tadlock, Brian Ware, Seth Taper, Sarah Ellis, Ryan Moeller, Olivia Mundorf, Tanner King, and Kyle Lobenhofer. The rest of our great crew here along for the ride on a 2-0 lead here for North Carolina Cows. They look to go to 5-0.
Even though it's not something they've done much this year, I think you're going to see them go, Carolina that is, deeper into their bench and give those starters a rest on an extremely hot day. I'd be shocked if you see them back in this one.
Now, you mentioned that hot day. They're talking about a hydration break coming, and there it is. So we're going to step aside during this hydration break. Be back in 60 with North Carolina leading North Dakota, a non-conference matchup by a score of 2-0.
With Amex Platinum, access to the card member entrance at select events and venues means you never miss a moment. Are you kidding me? That's the powerful backing of American Express.
Too far, man. How do you sleep at night?
Get matched at Mattress Firm? Sleep at night.
Good morning, everybody. We are here to discuss the ACC. So you sit with your book.
What?
So, any questions?
Nope, all clear.
Carolina blue skies on a hot, muggy afternoon, but it's North Carolina 2, North Dakota 0. Bella Sember from the penalty spot with the second goal, that coming here in the second half.
The biggest thing about PKs is just be confident, strike hard, strike true, and you put this one in a good spot where even when the keeper guesses right, they still can't get to it.
For more on Bella, let's go back to the third member of our crew, Hunter Caparelli.
Yeah, guys, when Summer was little, her mom had actually challenged her that if she could juggle a ball 100 times in a row before she turned 8, she would take her to Disney World. Summer was determined that she practiced juggling every day after school. Not only did she beat her mom's challenge of 100, but she was able to get to 2,000 in a row. So that summer during a family reunion in Florida, Summer's mom kept her word. She rented a car, snuck Summer out, and the two enjoyed a day at the most magical place on earth. Guys.
Amen.
And
well
that was
done.
her mom's first indication that she's got somebody that's got a little bit of a different mentality on her hands. When you're an elite athlete, you take a challenge and you not just meet it, but you supersede it.
See, I did the math on that. If it was 100 to get to Disney and she did 2,000, she's got 19 more trips to Disney.
I don't think her mom wants you to tell her that.
Gattino. Fossey. Just love watching her run with the ball downhill. I mean, she's faster with the ball at her feet, and it creates this kind of mess right here, which is always good for the Tar Heels. Della Rose back across in front, and all of that started from Fossey just running straight downhill with the ball.
I think it was Fossey who actually made the save and kept that from going in. Check this one out. Great shot that finds its way through, and it was right to Fossey's foot. She just couldn't quite redirect it after a defender got a foot on it first.
Della Rose does enough to get a piece of that. So unselfish, willing to do whatever it takes to help this Tar Heel team. Mara will get it back. Gattino to her right. Alvarez gives it to Gattino. You're starting to see North Dakota, they have to come out a little bit, but they need to get past midfield here.
Listen, they came in with a game plan, and they were bunkered down. They were hoping that it would be able to be 0-0, 1-0 until late, and then they could go ahead and push. It didn't work out that way, so you got to change on the fly, and credit them for starting to look like they're going to be a little more aggressive.
Della Rose. It's it out wide. Extra pass just a little bit too out in front of Penny, the freshman from Miami, Florida. A couple more changes coming now for North Dakota. The Fighting Hawks, Chris Logan. As he'll take out of the game Hunter Borgell. Sophia Dezzarello, the sophomore from the state of California, into the game. North Dakota in all green, the Tar Heels in all white with a 2-0 lead, a goal in each half. This North Dakota team will head down to South Carolina to take on the College of Charleston on Saturday. Then they've got 2 home games on the 6th and the 10th against Idaho State and Jamestown. And then don't forget about their October 6th home game against North Dakota State. Catino. You know, you often hear the it factor, you know, somebody that just looks like they can do just about anything. Has got the it factor. Catino, for me, has got it. I mean, I just don't see her making mistakes, Kyle. She just seems confident. She clearly come forward and get involved in the offense, lockdown defender. She's got the it factor.
I think you said it, it's confidence. Those players that just have that air of confidence about them. It's not arrogance. They just know that they can get it done.
Shot kept low.
And that's something I think that rubs off on the rest of the teammates as well.
Absolutely. 2 freshman center backs kind of feeding off of each other. And Armstrong and Gatino. Della Rose gets to it first along with Sember. Sember runs back into it. Oh, one more pass. As Sember was trying to connect there with Tongberg. They'll switch it. Gatino's got one. Popped high in the air and too deep. It'll come back to North Dakota, who trail in this game 2-0 with under 17 minutes remaining.
Gatino knew she got underneath that one right away, was just trying to chip it to the back post.
Push from behind, an easy whistle called against North Dakota. Gatino. Fassi. Now Fassi. Gives it back to Gatino. Gatino trying to put the right weight on it. Headed out of there. At this point, you're kind of thinking if Gagny's got any homework, you could maybe bring a desk over there and help her out a little bit.
Yeah, this is probably the toughest game as a goalie to play because you're just not involved at all. But you have to make sure somehow you stay connected in case they do get the ball on the other side of the field.
This punt is going to go out of bounds. Gatino will run it down. Fossey, really crafty. Alvarez. Mara had it for a moment. Fossey, everything speeds up when 13 has it. Alvarez.
So much of the game, she had gotten the ball and gone hard to the end line. Now you see her switch that up. When the defense is expecting it, she's going back to the middle of the field. That's that heady player that you alluded to in the first half. So good at getting corners, but also understands, hey, this is what they're expecting. We're going to go the other way then.
Cut inside, make something happen. In the game for North Dakota, Aubrey Dew, the sophomore from Shanley High School out of Fargo. Alvarez, Means, Sember, Dominguez, Della Rose, Mara. Wonderful hip check there from the Tar Heels. Gattino will switch it over to Della Rose. Back heel pass from Penny. Back across, trying to find Means. Fossey's there. Fossey will get it. Fossey's made it 3-0 Tar Heels.
That all started with a really great switch from Carolina. Just took one touch to get it from this near side of the field up to the top of the screen. And when you do that quickly, it doesn't allow the defense to transition over. So some space and a great ball across. Whether it was Means or Fossey, Carolina with two players there near side. Look at that heel pass. Perfectly executed.
I think it's Fossey. So 3-0, and David Nahas will give, looks like Fossey a break. So he'll bring Olivia Thomas back into the game. Yeah, how do you like that, North Dakota? You just went down 3-0.
Here's some of the starters back. Well, if you're North Dakota at this point, play free and clear and just try and get a goal, break through. There's an extra ball in the field. They caught it, okay.
12 minutes and change. Dog days at Dorrance Field in a doubleheader. UNC FIU men's soccer. Carlos Samuano, the top man for the Tar Heels, his birthday today. That's at 7:30 on a game you can catch right here on ACC Network Extra. Penny, who's done well. Allmark, part of the future of this Tar Heel team. Still doesn't have all of the numbers, but she's going to get him. Means keeps it down on the ground, and read well there by Grace Miller, who just a freshman from San Diego, pretty good goalkeeper.
That was a good decision there from Means and a good shot to keep it on the ground. She had Thomas crashing hard if that wasn't secured.
Tino almost shocked right there as Leffler won it away from Gattino. Allmark engine's still running, but the touches weren't quite there. The referee will bring it back and give it to North Dakota. See what they can do with about 10 minutes and 50-some seconds remaining. The Tar Heels have Seton Hall here on Sunday. And then play Duke and Columbia. And then Wake Forest, Tony DeLuise has Wake Forest in the top 25 for the ACC.
And part of the reason that Carolina schedules such a tough schedule non-conference is so that when they get into ACC play, you're ready to go. You're not taking a jump up in competition. You've already been there.
So Gattino is going to come out of the game here with just about 10 minutes remaining. North Dakota got a few fans here as they're starting to get the ball past midfield.
That's one thing I have noticed the entirety of this one is that their bench has been up and extremely engaged in this one the entire time.
Thomas with a great checkup. She wanted to get it back from Sember. Sember now does get it back to Thomas. Almost a handball. Mara gives it up to Wanovich. Wanovich back on it. (3-0) as North Carolina looking to go 5-0 under Damon Nahas.
Penny maybe had some blood. As soon as she passed that ball, referee blowing the whistle, and she went directly to the trainer.
So Penny can, well, second half anyway, but she can come back in as she's dealing with that blood issue. North Carolina does go to their bench and make a change with 3-0 lead. North Dakota also going to make a change. The Fighting Hawks of North Dakota, they will fall to 2 wins, 1 loss, and 2 ties. It'll be the first time this season, unless they can find, I don't know how they do it though on this side. First time this season they will have not scored a goal. Alvarez over to Means. Back from Alvarez. Sember. Dominguez. Kept alive by Sember. Sticky feet.
Really nice one-touch passing in tight quarters by Carolina.
Well defended though. It'll lead to a goal kick for North Dakota. North Carolina, under their interim top man, Damon Nahas, will push to 5-0. Gattino, Bella Sember, Kate Fossey, 3 goal scorers for the Tar Heels. Kyle, I told you as you walked in, I like this team. I like this team wearing the white uniforms. Certainly wish North Dakota well, but they clearly knew coming in here that they were up against a buzzsaw. That's kind of how they approached it, and eventually that buzzsaw is going to cut you a little bit.
Yeah, and I don't know that with the way that this game has been played, you can take much away from it for either side, because you're not going to see a game like this very often throughout the year. But from what we did see, very impressed with the maturity level of so many young freshmen for Carolina that are out there.
And some sophomores too. Fossey gives that one up to Ella Smith. Miss clearance. Means has time. Thomas, extra pass, so unselfish. Over December. Thomas, who can hit with the right or the left. She almost is like LeBron, pass first type player up top.
Well, and that was great vision right there to know that she's got a player on her back, but Sember was open just a couple feet to the right.
Dominguez. Wanovich. Allmark. And you just know that once she gets one, she's going to get a bunch. Thomas. And she's a step offside.
With Allmark, I almost feel like maybe it's a little bit of what Thomas went through last year. Just have to get to that adjustment period of going from high school to college, from club to D1, and once you figure that out, things fall in place.
Yeah, especially with the kind of soccer brain that Damon Nahas says that she has, and you see it on display as well, Kyle.
Yeah, exactly. She knows where to be. It's just figuring it out at the next level now.
Right now, it looks like Mara and Alvarez are the two center backs. Here's the 5-minute mark where Hunter Caparelli said that the North Dakota coach was going to let him go. They bomb it long. Good hustle back by Mara. Wanovich. Long ball from Dominguez. One far side, Allmark making that great run. You see it right there though, the gait, the run, the ability to run onto the ball. Good little touches here from the Tar Heels. Behind Thomas though, she can't turn with it. Wanovich will tap it back to Alvarez.
Allmark's timing is there. I think it's one of those adjustments where at the club level, maybe you had enough time for 2 touches. Now it's a half a touch.
That's well said, as Allmark tried to find Ella Smith. Just over 4 minutes remaining here. Dog day at Dorrance Field. And the doubleheader, FIU UNC men's 7:30 from Dorrance Field. Dominguez, far side. Allmark trying to cross it. And they'll call the foul there. Thomas didn't agree.
Check out the timing on this one. I was a little surprised that came out, but from that angle, I think that's the right call, though.
With a player down in a 3-0 lead, we can tell you that North Carolina has 40 shots, 12 of them on goal. They have forced Grace Miller to make 9 saves. North Carolina also with 12 corners and 4 offside. And we got the clock stopped here with 3:15. 40 shots, Kyle.
That's that's not many times, I think, in my 15 years of doing this that I've seen a team take that many in a game, but they've also had possession for 95, 96% of the time. It's Bella Sember they're working on. Most likely cramps being that she's played the majority of this game, 73 minutes.
They've had 2 games already with more than 21 shots. You won't be surprised to learn that
double that almost.
Yeah, they won those games. The Carolina family These connections are pretty cool. Even Alvarez, her dad Daniel, went to grad school at UNC. Avery Look, older brother Dylan, ran track at UNC. Caitlin Mara, her mom Liz, swam at UNC. Of course, Means' dad, Natrone, big-time football player here and in the pros, and offensive analyst for the Tar Heels. Ashley Penny and older brother Luke, sophomore at UNC, and Ella Smith, mother Nancy, played soccer at UNC under Anson Dorrance, and has an older brother Ryan, Ella does, who's been into the game, who also attends UNC. Carolina family. Hey, I do want to let you know, especially since we just talked about Natrone Means, that the UNC-Minnesota football game has been pushed back to 9 o'clock Eastern due to some weather in the Minnesota area.
Just
So
got
9 o'clock.
Just got pushed past my bedtime. That's what happened.
Alvarez.
Just means you can tune into the men's soccer game before you go over to the football game.
There you go. That's right, glass half full man. Kyle Straub, always full of positivity. And bounce, and not quite there.
You can hear Coach Logan encouraging from the sideline. There's 2 minutes. We can do this. Let's push forward.
Just like that, Tar Heels going the other way. Means! Big time save again. Save number 10 on the game for Miller.
She's a little hobbled getting up too.
Might be her best save of the game.
This defense to poke that away.
North Carolina, as they go to their bench, bringing some heat. Avery Look, one
Miller
of those.
is down behind the play here as they whistle this one. Point blank save on Means. It's a great ball through. She didn't have much of an angle. Miller did a good job of covering up. Looks like she's worse for the wear, though.
Yeah, it looks like they might even want to make a change. So the backup goalkeeper finding a uniform.
And you can see her if you watch. She goes down to the knee to make this save. Kind of awkwardly folded up on her left leg. Watch her as she goes down here on the left leg, that front one. It's almost like the cleat got stuck in the ground as she went down.
Sydney Bakrites, who is from Minnesota, and she's played over 60 minutes already this season.
And Miller, just a freshman, has played such a good game. The last thing you want to see is somebody get hurt in this with just 2 minutes to go.
So 1:41 remaining. Said it before, I'll say it again. The Tar Heels back here at Dorrance Field, Sunday, 1 o'clock, to take on Seton Hall. Means closes it down. Means. Look had it for a second. As we've got 1:20 remaining. The Tar Heels gonna move to 5-0 to start the season. Thomas has it ripped away. See Seton Hall on the schedule. Hard not to think of the social media superstar for the Tar Heels, Brittany Bartok, whose grandfather is the legendary Manfred Shellscheit, who coached the Seton Hall men's team for years and is credited for developing the original form of certification or licensing for U.S. soccer way back in the day. And of course, Brittany Bartok, who played here at North Carolina, has stuck around to handle the social media, does a great job.
Opportunity with under a minute to go on this free kick. Dakota with all their numbers forward. Lately able to get to that one first, so it'll be one more free kick. They got a rush though. Not going to get it in.
Final seconds count down. Your final score, North Carolina 3, North Dakota 0.
Listen, North Dakota's coach told us that they wanted to come in here and at the very least battle all the way till the end. And I think that they can hang their heads or not hang